Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It is Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. There's been reports online that the U.S. military is planning to go after Mexican narco-terrorists, along with drug facilities and weapons storage sites in Mexico without warning. The military has been mapping and gathering intelligence with aircraft and AUVs on locations for the last 3 weeks. There was an article in the New York Times saying one cartel leader says he's trying to figure out how to protect his family in case the American military strikes inside Mexico. Another says he's already gone into hiding, rarely leaving his home. A barrage of arrests, drug seizures, and lab busts by the Mexican authorities have struck the Sinaloa cartel, according to Mexican officials, and interviews with 6 cartel operatives, forcing at least some of its leaders to scale back on fentanyl production in Sinaloa state. That's where evidently their stronghold is at. The cartels have sown terror across Mexico and caused untold damage in the United States. But in Culiacan, the state capital, the dynamics seems to be shifting, at least for now. Cartel operatives say they have moved their labs to other areas of the country or temporarily shut down production. Many of you have probably heard how President Donald Trump said he was going to go in and target the cartels, listing them as terrorists. The U.S. military has had drills training there in Mexico in the past. Evidently back on February 20th, they deployed an MQ-9 Reaper drone, and that was in Mexico. I don't know if they're still there. The U.S. military was there in Mexico to provide combat training for its Marine infantry as part of an effort to crack down on cartel activity. According to the U.S. Department of Defense on their website, it says the Pentagon deploys Stryker Brigade Aviation Battalion to the southern border. The Pentagon is deploying a Stryker Brigade combat team and a General Support Aviation Battalion to the southwest border, accelerating efforts to fulfill President Donald J. Trump's directive to bolster military support in securing the U.S.-Mexico border. The units equipped with wheeled vehicles and air capacities are set to reinforce border operations in the coming weeks. Now, that was according to the Pentagon Press Secretary Sean Parnell. Each SBCT is a mechanized infantry force of approximately 4,000 soldiers, and the Army's 9 SBCTs, 7 active duty and 2 National Guard, are known for their rapid deployment and versatility, built around the Stryker vehicle, and 8 wheeled armor platforms. They are also capable of transporting C-130 Hercules aircraft within 96 hours. The Stryker excels in operation requiring swift response, he says. Parnell went on to say that these forces will arrive in the coming weeks, and their deployment underscores the department's unwavering dedication to work alongside the Department of Homeland Security to secure our southern border and maintain the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and security of the United States under President Trump's leadership. Recently, Mexico handed over 29 drug cartels to the United States, including one of the FBI's most wanted, in what observers say is a show of compliance by Mexican authorities. The handover comes just days after a 25% tariff on Mexican imports by President Donald Trump. Trump has long taken aim at what he says is Mexico's failure to control drug cartels. He has referred to them as quasi-government organizations in some parts of the country and blames Mexico in particular for the flow of highly addictive fentanyl into the U.S. in recent years. Mexico on Thursday handed over 29 cartel figures who are already being held in Mexican prisons. They boarded planes at an airport north of Mexico City, news agency citing the Mexican government had said. Trump said one reason for the tariffs is a failure by the Mexico and Canadian government to prevent street drugs such as fentanyl from flowing into the U.S. Drugs are still pouring into our country from Mexico and Canada at a very high, unacceptable levels, he wrote on his Truth Social post last Thursday, in which he confirmed the tariffs will be imposed next week. I believe the tariffs will be enacted on March 4th. Facing economic chaos, the Mexican government went on the offensive. President Claudia Sheinbaum dispatched 10,000 National Guard troops to the border and hundreds more soldiers to the Sonora state, a major hub of fentanyl trafficking, where a cartel war has been going on for months. The country's law enforcement seized nearly as much fentanyl in the last 5 months as it did in the previous year. Ms. Sheinbaum's administration said it has made nearly 900 arrests in Sonora alone since October. They're saying it's a clear signal to the Trump administration that Mexico was eager to fight the cartels, though President Trump said on the same day that he was still not satisfied with the government's efforts and that tariffs would go into effect on March 4th. In interviews, cartel operatives said that some of them were selling off property and firing unessential personnel to make up for the loss of income from the dent in the fentanyl traffic. Others said they were investing money in advanced equipment to detect American government drones, which the United States flew into Mexico during the Biden and Obama administration. Evidently, we're doing that even now, from what I hear on local chatter. Cartel operatives said they were importing scanners to detect drones and hiring more people with experience operating and tracking such aircraft. They also said they had increased arms shipments from the United States. Reminds me of Fast and Furious. Many of you might be too young to know that, but that's when the U.S. government was selling weapons to the cartels. Mexico's cartels are known for amassing military-grade weapons, including IEDs and landmines. Yet the operatives acknowledged in interviews that they could scarcely compete with the American military arsenal. One high-level operative said the cartel would be prepared to respond if raids or strikes were carried out. Cartel members said the only reason the government hadn't really fought them up until recently was because they bought off enough officials. One cartel cell leader said he doubted that his new effort would seriously damage the cartel because the group could ensure its survival by bribing key officials. One operative said that even if the government bombs every drug lab in Mexico, it won't make Americans less dependent on the drug, which is one of the most addictive synthetic opioids available. He said that with the right ingredients, fentanyl can be synthesized almost anywhere, in tiny kitchens or small mountain labs, and that as long as Americans want fentanyl, it will be made. Demand will never end. The product is still being consumed, the operative said. Addiction means demand never ends. So the 4th, can we expect the U.S. military to go in and do something? Maybe working with the Mexican government? Maybe not. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. This world has gone nuts. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.